glimmer of hope for the People's National Convention as it seeks to overturn its disqualification from the upcoming December elections. This afternoon, we'll look into what the latest order means for the Electoral Commission.
Also developing the ZAR, fixed the country convener Oliver Bakavomo granted 20,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties by an Accra High Court after being detained for over 22 days.
Also happening this hour, woodworkers at Sokoban Wood Village threaten to stop paying market tolls if the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly does not address concerns of unlawful takeover of their lands by thugs. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Kemeni Amano and this is News Central.
I am Mawina Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now. And this is your Election Command Center. Advise the EC not to do anything far-reaching. That's the caution of the judge here in PNC flag bearer Bernard Mono's suits challenging the Electoral Commission's decision to disqualify him from the presidential election race. For the PNC flag bearer, the caution by the judge is suggestive of an injunction and warning to the EC not to print ballot papers for the December elections. Bernard Mono sued the Electoral Commission over his disqualification from the 2024 presidential elections in December. Mona was among 11 disqualified presidential aspirants. The EC explained that the presidential aspirants were disqualified from participating in the December 7 elections due to their failure to correct errors on their nomination forms, a claim being challenged by Bernard Mona, and will seek to get a bit more from him. But let's speak to counsel of Mr. Mona this afternoon, who's joined us via the telephone lines for a quick conversation. I appreciate that you could speak to us, counsel. The judge made it quite clear, asking the lawyers of the EC to have it not do anything which could have intents that could harm potential rulings by the judge. You say it is a firm conclusion of an injunction being placed on the EC from printing ballot papers. Why so? Many will argue you cannot interpret that advice as such.
Yes, hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, if I got your question precisely, what you're asking
I'm asking why you're interpreting the judge's caution to be an injunction on the Electoral Commission from going ahead to print ballot papers for the December polls.
So to set the record straight, we haven't interpreted the judge's pronouncement to mean an interlocutory injunction. All we did in court was that after having made our submissions as to why the Electoral Commission's conduct is in clear contravention of Articles 23 and 296 of the Constitution, because the Electoral Commission failed to afford the first applicant, which is Bernard Mona, the presidential candidate of the second applicant, the People's National Convention, an opportunity to amend the so-called alleged errors they had detected in the nomination forms, was a clear breach of the rules of natural justice. We haven't in any way said that there was an injunction granted. At the close of our submissions to the court today, what we intimated was that we are aware that the Electoral Commission is going ahead with the printing of ballot papers. And so we asked the court to at least admonish counsel for the Electoral Commission to ask his client which is the Electoral Commission, to desist from going ahead with these processes until the ruling is delivered on Monday. And so, in the words of the judge, he asked counsel for the Electoral Commission to advise his client to desist from doing anything that would interfere with the final determination of the suit. So we haven't in any quarters interpreted the pronouncement of the judge as a grant of an injunction. We haven't done that.
Well, that caution, some argue, could put the December elections in a fix because the EC announced its notice or put out the notice of poll. They've been going through processes to print the ballot papers at yesterday's IPAC meeting. In fact, it was one of the many things which was discussed amongst the many other things. This could put the calendar or the plans of the Electoral Commission into jeopardy, some have said.
Yes, so the point is this, that the constitutional rights of Mr. Bernard Mona as presidential candidate of the People's National Convention, which is a registered political party that has contested all public elections since 1992 to date, cannot be sacrificed on the altar of administrative convenience. As I stated earlier, in my discussion to some of your colleagues before this interview, you see, this particular action has to be viewed across a certain lens. It is not just about Mr. Bernard Mona. It is not about the PNC. It is about the constitutional and democratic dispensation we are practicing as a country, and that the rights of all individuals to participate in political activity is inviolable. The EC, the Electoral Commission, has violated its own constitutional instrument, i.e. Regulation 9.2 of CI 127, which provides in clear terms that before you can declare the nomination forms of a candidate invalid, he must be afforded the opportunity to be heard. Now, if you were in court today, right, you would have heard the arguments we made, because the EC is now alleging that there were issues of criminality bordering on forgery and impersonation. And our simple response was that the Electoral Commission cannot arrogate to itself the powers of the police service. It is the police service that is supposed to investigate all matters of criminality, and the standard in establishing guilt in criminal proceedings, as they allege in their affidavit, is beyond reasonable doubt. That can only be done by a competent court of jurisdiction. So the EC cannot just look at signatures and say, these signatures look the same, and so we are disqualifying you, without giving you particulars and an opportunity to remedy the errors. Look, my brother, you were in this country in 2012, when then EC chair, Afarijan, called the PNC's presidential candidate to come and go through the nomination forms to
and we saw subsequently as well in 2016 what happened when Madame Charlotte said disqualified a number of candidates where the High Court had reconsider that decision and all of them brought back. The court has set October 21 as date for ruling. You're confident it will go in your favor, and also that you're going to see this through to the very end, no matter what happens.
Yes, our commitment to this is to the democracy of this country, not just because of our clients. We want to ensure that the democracy of this country is put in a state that everybody can participate in political activity.
Right then, Harold.
Our complaint is simple, that the Electoral Commission has to abide by the dictates of Article 23 and 296 that enjoins administrative bodies to act fairly and reasonably when it decides to take a decision of this magnitude.
Quick question though, what would you do, what will you and Mr. Mona do should the Electoral Commission, despite this caution, proceed to print the ballot papers?
We are confident that on Monday we would get a ruling seeking to have Mr. Bernard Mona on the presidential ballot forms. But when we get to the point where you are anticipating, we will jump the proverbial bridge. But we are confident in our client's case.
Harold, I appreciate that you could speak to us. That's Harold Atuguba. He is lawyer for Bernard Mona. And the latest is that the High Court has cautioned the Electoral Commission not to take any steps that could prove adverse to the case. It's a caution, and like you heard him say, they've not interpreted it to mean an interlocutory injunction. But we can bring you some other stories this afternoon.
Indeed. Now, the coalition of district assembly members have petitioned the Office of the Special Prosecutor to investigate the Ghana Revenue Authority and software company, Digital City Solutions, over the collection of property rates since 2023. According to the group, the involvement of GRA in the collection of property rates raises concerns as it contradicts Section 144 of the Local Government Act 2016, which gives exclusive authority to the district assemblies to collect such levies. The coalition, at a press briefing in Ho, indicated that checks so far have revealed deep financial impropriety and non-compliance by the Ghana Revenue Authority and Digital City Solutions Limited to the terms of agreement. Let's get more on this story. I'll bring in now Volta Region correspondent Faisal Abdul Idrisu. Faisal, tell us a bit more about this story. Digital City Solutions and the GRA. Where is the connection?
The coalition, the GRA and Digital City Solution are two entities. The Digital City Solution is a private entity, and then the GRA, as you know, as for the collection of revenues. But for property rates, the assemblies have the exclusive jurisdiction over it to levy people and collect that. But they are telling us that between 2023, that is the start of 2023, up until somewhere this year, the GRA and Digital City Solutions have been contracted to take the property rates on behalf of the assembly. This, they say, contravenes Section 144 of the Local Governance Act 926 as amended. They are saying also that since they have done the collection over the period, they've not been able to account to the assembly, even though some 70% of the revenue they have collected is supposed to be deposited into the accounts of the assembly. This, they say, that has actually impacted the financial position of the assembly. They are not able to pay ex-gracias, they are not able to pay sitting allowances, largely saying that the assemblies have been financially incapacitated because of the involvement of the GRA in the collection of the rates.
I see. So now that they have petitioned the OSP, what's next for the coalition?
The president indicated earlier this morning that if the OSP fails to actually conduct the investigation, they are exploring other legal options, including petitioning SHRAJ and other state institutions that are to watch and monitor the operations of other state institutions like the GRA. They may go forward, they may proceed to courts to get the GRA to account and also surcharge people because they believe that this whole issue could amount to some form of criminality.
I see. I know that you spoke to members of the coalition, but before we take a listen to that, have we heard anything at all from either the GRA or, Digital City Solutions, the private company? Not at all, indeed. Let's take a listen to, the coalition that is demanding that the OSP looks into the conduct of the GRA and Digital City Solutions.
So far exposed the irregularity and non-compliance of GRA and DCS with the illegal agreement. Reasons for petitioning the OSP. Financial mismanagement. The financial hardship faced by the assemblies suggests possible mismanagement or misallocation of funds. Transparency and accountability are crucial to verifying whether these revenues have been properly handled. Lack of transparency. This is inadequate information. There is inadequate information on the total amount of property-raised revenues collected and how these funds are distributed. An investigation will provide clarity on these financial flows. Impact on local development and inability of the assemblies to pay ex gratia of the 8th Assembly. The financial constraints have severely hindered the Assembly's ability to pay ex gratia of the 8th Assembly. Since the dissolution of the 8th Assembly, the ex gratia of the members have still not been paid due to financial constraints. Public trust. Effective management of property rate is vital for maintaining public trust in both the GRA and local government institutions.
You heard the spokesperson of some assembly members in Oho who are demanding that the OSP looks into the collection of property raised by the GRA and a private company, Digital City Solutions Limited. Earlier, I was in a conversation with Volta Region correspondent Faisal Abdul Idrisu.
Well, taking you back to the courts this hour, where Fix the Country convener Oliver Barker-Vormawor has been granted a 20,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties by an Accra High Court. The action follows what has been his detention for the last 22 days plus during the Democracy Hub protest against illegal mining last month. Oliver had initially been denied bail 3 times by both the High Court and Circuit Court while being shuffled from police custody to the hospital over ill health. Lord Eduasari is our man in court. He will join us with the details as to what considerations went into the decision by the High Court judge to grant bail this time. Well, we know the first time the High Court judge sat on the case and decided not to grant bail, she made the argument, or the argument was made by the judge, that should the Circuit Court continue to deny him bail, then the High Court will consider doing so. Is that the consideration which has gone into the decision that we're seeing this afternoon? As we've seen on social media as well, continuous support for him with campaigns clamoring for his release. Lord Eduasari, like I mentioned, is our court correspondent. We'll seek to get an understanding of exactly why and what went into the decision to have Oliver Barker-Vormawor granted a 20,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties. Let's try Lord this time and see if we connect with him. Lord, do we understand the considerations that went into the granting of the bail today?
Mind if I come again?
I'm asking what considerations went into granting Oliver bail today.
Well, we are still finding that out from his lawyer, but you'd recall that at the last hearing, the presiding judge indicated that if after 72 hours Oliver's case has not begun at the Circuit Court, they can make a repeat bail application, at which point it may be granted, seeing that he spent, as it were, over 20 days in police custody. You again recall that his lawyers have been making the case that Oliver, as it were, has had some health conditions and has been struggling whilst in police custody. Again, the concern that the judges were raising or have been raising so far is that even while on bail, Oliver, according to them, has committed another offense, because currently on bail on a treason felony charge, and committing this offense again is what is preventing him from being granted bail. But with all these considerations, now that they made a repeat application, that has been granted. In the orders, however, the presiding judge indicated that Oliver is supposed to report to the police twice a week, all things considered minor.
And do we know, has his lawyers provided details if these conditions for bail has been met so he can go home? We know in the case of the other Democracy Hub protesters, there was a difficulty in meeting the bail conditions, and reports of some of the officials at the court having to close early and all of that.
Yeah, we are here to confirm that with his lead counsel, Justice Stremside.
Right then, Lord, I appreciate those details. That's my colleague, Lord Edwasare, with details there for us in relation to the granting of a 20,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties for Oliver Baka-Vomawo and to report to the police custody twice in a week. That's the indication we get from my colleague, Lord Edwasare.
Indeed, more on that story in later broadcasts. Right now, the wait will go on for the NDC minority in Parliament after the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, deferred ruling on a motion seeking to have him declare some 4 seats vacant. The second arm of government resumed sitting with a heated debate over the NDC's minority attempts to have their side declared as the majority. It follows the decision of some 4 incumbent NPP MPs to contest the next general elections as independent candidates. Now, despite an injunction application by the majority leader, Alexander Apenyo-Makin, it did not stop the House from proceeding intently with arguments for and against the motion.
And then, Mr. Speaker, lastly, what Honourable Member for Senate spoke about. Mr. Speaker, it is widespread information that the Minister of Agric gave fertilizers to members of Parliament to distribute.
Wrong, telling us here in Parliament, since you are our leader, that these are the people who are affected in these parts of the country, and not just stand here and tell us in the north. Where in the north? Today, we have northern region, northeast, savannah, and you can't just come and stand and say north. Where in the north? Which part of the north? And what was the criteria used in doing the assessment and coming to the conclusion that they will need 3,000 cedis per person? Yes. These are things that we must know.
We said a dry spell. A dry spell. You can play.
We apologize for the wrong insert. We should be hearing that motion, an argument really between the 2 sides in Parliament as they debated whether or not those 4 NPP seats be declared vacant. But I tell you what, in the end, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Bagbin, deferred his ruling, asking for more time to deliver a written and reasoned ruling. This, though, does not clarify if the Speaker will stay his course of action due to the injunction application.
Honourable members, I have listened to the comments from members after the minority leader submitted before the House a statement under Order 93. Both the statement and the comments have raised quite serious issues of procedure and substantive law. And I think I need time to go through them. Because what I believe is that do unto others as you want others to do unto you. And when you plant evil, you reap evil. And so I want to take a few days to submit a reasoned ruling in this matter.
Right now, the clock has started ticking for when that reasoned ruling will be delivered. He says in the next 48 hours. After today, we'll count down to 24 hours. But this afternoon, we'll head to Parliament, or makeshift Parliament, which is set to resume deliberations on critical legislation, including the Environmental Protection Bill of 2024, a vital measure in Ghana's ongoing battle against illegal mining, Galamsey that is, and environmental degradation. Now, this bill, which consolidates several environmental laws, aims to empower the Environmental Protection Agency to better regulate harmful activities, including curbing Galamsey operations that have severely polluted water bodies and damaged our ecosystems, alongside other bills such as the Ghana Boundary Commission Bill 2023 and the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Bill 2021. Let's check in with Noble Crosby Annan, who's our man in Parliament today, get a bit more on activities there. Crosby, good afternoon to you. After yesterday's heated debate, how would you describe the atmosphere in Parliament today?
Well, it's very regular, Kamini. I should tell you that the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, arrived a short while ago and proceedings started. Before that, a few members of Parliament who were around were seen having regular engagements, regular interactions amongst themselves before the Speaker came and proceedings started. Just like you rightly mentioned, a few bills are on the table today. And yesterday, you know that the Speaker mentioned that because of the short time frame available to parliamentarians, they'll need to be very serious in dealing with some of these bills that the House will have to consider at various stages. Amongst them is the Social Protection Bill 2024. I should tell you that now it is on the second. It will be read for the second time. That's where the bill has got into, and after that, a few deliberations will be made. Then eventually, possibly in the coming days, it could get to the third reading of the Social Protection Bill, and it's a bill that is seeking to regulate society, if you like, to make the society a little bit more equal, protect the vulnerable, if you like. They were also looking at the Ghana Boundary Commission Bill 2023. It will also be read for the second time today. It is on the agenda and will be done by the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Essentially, this bill is needed to protect or enforce Ghana's boundary relations with its neighboring countries, maritime boundaries, air boundaries, and amongst all of them. This is something that will be considered today. There's also the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2021. This bill is at the consideration stage, so a few amendments will be made, a few deletions and insertions are expected to be made today. Then, most importantly, today, the Environmental Protection Bill. Now, you know that the EPA have for long been wanting to increase their powers. They are seeking prosecutorial powers, particularly at the time that illegal mining is very rife along the water bodies, along the forest reserves. They say that their current mandates limits them, if you like. So they are seeking the Parliament will approve this bill, which now is at the consideration stage, so that they will be able to get some biting powers to enable them carry out their responsibilities as is expected of them. And this is something that a lot of people have a lot of interest in. There's also the Ghana Boundary Commission Bill, just as we spoke about at the consideration stage. So these are some of the bills that are various stages of deliberations in Parliament today coming.
Now, Crosby, we know that the Speaker has had reason to appeal to the MPs to ensure that they, mix the attendance with their campaigns as we enter, the thick of the December elections. What would you say about attendance today?
Well, so far it has not been very encouraging. On top of my mind, we find less than a quarter of members of Parliament, the 275 members of Parliament, we find less than a quarter in Parliament at the moment. But as has been the practice, a lot of them are en route to the dome of the Accra International Conference Center. So around late afternoon, the population is likely to increase a little bit. But I know that it will not get too close to half of it. That is something the Speaker has been speaking about, just like you rightly mentioned yesterday. And in fact, for yesterday and today, he has been ensuring that the rolls are called. So he's trying to know which MPs are present, which MPs are absent. And like he also acknowledged yesterday, a lot of the members of Parliament have various duties, particularly during this campaign period. So he urges them to try and balance the two. Be present in Parliament, to get a few days off, to go to your constituency and do your campaign as is expected of you, Kemini.
I see. Crosby, thank you so much for the reporting. Noble Crosby Annan joined us from Parliament, where we've been talking about bills to be considered today, but also attendance of MPs after the Speaker made an appeal for them to balance attending to business of the House and campaigning as we enter the thick of the December 7th general elections. You're live here on News Central. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories. You don't go away.
One bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply
At More Motors, we keep you moving with our 24/7 mobile mechanic service. From general maintenance and auto mechanic services to auto electricals. ZNS Transatlantic Shipping ensures your belongings get where they need to go safely and efficiently. More Tech IT Solutions offers top-notch cloud services, data services, security services, and networking solutions. More City Estates provides comprehensive property management, land sales, leasing options, and handyman services. We're here for all your needs, whenever and wherever you need us.
Hey! More Group, a name you can trust.
We all have that one friend, always by your side for the big moments and ready to assist. He's always got his eyes on the prize and his heart in the right place. Where would we be without our BFF? This season, enjoy all 380 Premier League games with your BFF GoTV. Upgrade or reconnect to GoTV Super Plus for the discounted price of just 265 cedis today. GoTV, love it.
Fellow countrymen and women, the desperate NPP, realizing that they are losing the 2024 elections, has once again resorted to lies to smear the nation builder, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The NPP's claim that Mahama was against free SHS and will cancel it when elected is nothing but a barefaced lie calculated to deceive you. John Mahama started the implementation of the progressively free SHS program in 2015 with day students and had a clear plan to expand the program to cover borders, hence cannot be said to be against free SHS. What he has been against is the poor implementation of the program. Contrary to the lies of the NPP, the next NDC Mahama government will improve the implementation of the free SHS program to make it better. We will do this by scrapping the double-track system, provide a dedicated source of funding for the program, include private SHS, improve the feeding of our children, and enhance the quality of learning outcomes. Listen to the truth from the horse's own mouth.
Free senior high school education has come to stay. If anybody tells you that I, John Dramani Mahama, son of E.A. Mahama, will abolish free SHS when I come, tell the person he's a bloody liar. What I'm against is the poor implementation of the free SHS, which is creating great inconvenience for the parents, for the students, and for the teachers.
And one of the things we'll do when we come back into office, and I know inshallah we're coming back into office, is to complete the 200 community day schools that we began, so that we can bring a quick end to the double-track system.
Beware of the NPP's lies. Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere.
8K. Hey, you can get 8K. Get back packing from your command. Hey, wait.
You can put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck. Hey, yo, Bill Radio. We are star 712. It's much more phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let me choose buy tickets for adults.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4.
Now, you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets.
I'm choosing random ticket. That's it.
Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
So good, miss.
Hey, there, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The Luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program, providing an enlightened analysis of the key issues facing us as a country.
The key points of the stories that matter with the people who matter.
This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program, every Saturday, 7 a.m. on TV3 and on 3FM 92.7. TV3, first in news.
Back on the Election Command Center and the campaign trail, with 2 months to the general elections, the Alan Tremantain campaign is touring Kumasi, that's the Ashanti region, Eastern, Western, and the Greater Accra region. Well, the Greater Accra regional tour is being led by Sadiq Boniface, who's vowed to win all Zongo votes for Alan Tremantain and the movement for change. Joseph Armstrong Gold is with the team, joining us right now with details. Armstrong, talk to us a bit more, where you are, what's been happening.
Mantina Zongo community, we have Boniface Sadiq Abubakar here leading the Alan team, and also that of Hobson Adoye, and we also have Ohinin Tob, all part of the campaign tour here in Accra. As said earlier, Alan himself is based in Kumasi with his wife in the Eastern region, and also we have that of the VIP in the Western region. So let's talk to Sadiq now. Sadiq, talk to me. So we are here in the Zongo, and you are assuring the Zongo people that Alan has some great things for them.
He has very good vision. He's a visionary man, has a high integrity, and somebody is a man of character that I believe if we bring Alan as the president of this country, he will change the whole of the country. And Zongo will benefit a lot because they know us as traders. And Alan has been a very special minister for trade and industry. And this is the best time we need him for this country.
So you are hopeful that
I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic that the dynamics in Zongo will change this time around.
Let's talk to Hobson now. Hobson, talk to me. You have been very vocal when it comes to the Alan campaign. So explain to us how the campaign is going 2 months to the election, how it's going to be like at stands right now. Speak to me.
No, I wish my senior man speaks, but
now you will speak. You will speak. But let's make it snappy.
Let me take the opportunity. We are doing a different style of campaign. You will not see that of the FDC, NDC, where they pass people to a particular place and then, drum and dance and then go home. We are doing a targeted campaign. We've named our caravan tour. We move to the people. We don't pass them to a particular point. That's what we are doing. Today, from here, we are going to the market to various centers in Medina community before the next.
We are hopeful that the campaign is going well.
Oh, the campaign is going well. And I'm telling you, we are going to make a history in this country.
No.
We are not going to win straight away, but we'll be part of the first two for the runners.
Who be the other one?
Oh, that is between Upper Franco and NDC. That's all.
So you have ruled out the MPP.
Oh, they are losing.
Let me talk to the last man standing. Ohinin Tob. So Ohinin, let's make it very snappy for me. You are part of this campaign. Tell me, how is it going so far?
I have been in the Bronx. I've spoken to the chiefs, I've spoken to the people, I've spoken to farmers, the rural communities across Ghana. Their cry is that our region is an agricultural region. We alone can feed the whole of Ghana and beyond. But our roads are bad. every infrastructure here does not support agriculture. Alan asked me to send his message, and it is in the Great Transformation Plan. Bono region is going to become one of the biggest bases for agro-industrial transformation, which will lift the economy of this country and put it as one of the top in Africa. Two, as we go around, we meet the teeming youth in the rural communities, no jobs. Alan has sent a reassuring message. Whilst agriculture begins to boom, industry is going to grow within the communities where agriculture is taking place. The youth, educated young people are going to find jobs in their own community. The economy is going to pick up, and they wouldn't need to travel to become Kayayi in Accra and in Kumasi.
Thank you very much. So that is that for you. They are very confident of winning the upcoming election, and for them, they pulled out the MPP completely, saying at the end of the day, they and the NDC go into a runoff, and after the runoff, they will merge as the final victory, victorious party as it stands now. So let's keep our eye on this development, and then December 7 will tell whether indeed the movement for change will emerge as the winner of the general election. Joseph Armstrong, over to you in the studios.
Right then, Armstrong, thank you very much for those details. That's my colleague Joseph Armstrong. Go, but we'll stay with politics a while longer, Kemini.
Indeed, remember, we are your election command center. Now, the opposition National Democratic Congress has described as reckless President Akufo-Addo's challenge to the NDC's John Dramani Mahama to declare his stance on illegal mining. Speaking to chiefs in Northeast during his thank you tour on Tuesday, President Akufo-Addo criticized Mahama for what he described as contradictory and inconsistent statements on the issue. We can now get on to Zoom and speak to Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Mustafa Gbandi. Mustafa, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Indeed, Mustafa will join us in a bit. So let's take a listen to President Akufo-Addo as he made the statement.
The president, he can't change his mouth. One side of his mouth is saying one thing, the other side of his mouth is saying another thing. It is not good for him. In the 2020 elections, after the government had acted on the Galamsey, he went around all the mining districts of Ghana to tell them that when he comes, he's going to give amnesty to anybody who has been attacked on the Galamsey issue by my government. So it's not surprising that MPP lost in all those constituencies. That when he comes, he will now enforce the Galamsey laws. We want the NDC, four-time NDC presidential candidate, to come clean, to tell us where does he stand. This is what I meant when I said that I was prepared to put my presidency on the line. I was prepared to take the political risk in dealing with them Galamsey.
President Akufo-Addo there. We can now try Mustafa Gbandi again. Mustafa Gbandi is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Mustafa, good afternoon to you. You say the president's statement is reckless. Why?
It is not just reckless, it is dishonesty. Because you remember when NDC was exiting power, we had what we call Operation Vanguard. Operation Vanguard was not instituted by President Akufo-Addo. It was President Mahama's measure of combating illegal mining. In fact, we didn't have the degree of destruction we had now in 2014. It was President Akufo-Addo who, upon resuming as president, promised to put his presidency on the line and at the same time issuing permits to his cronies to mine in the forest reserves. We all know, it is common knowledge and common sense, that all our streams and river bodies flow out of the mountains and the forest reserves. So when you tell people to go and mine in the forest reserve, you have actually given them a certification to destroy the water bodies. And so we should not politicize the conversation. We should keep the conversation nationalistic. President Akufo-Addo is still president. He has all it takes as president to deal with the menace, except to say that because he's not just a beneficiary, but he's a licensor of the operation of illegal mining, he doesn't have what it takes to fight it. So he should politicize this, make Ghanaians laugh over it, when in fact, what is ahead of us is tragedy, because the environmental impact, the health impact of what is going on will be very devastating in the near future.
I see.
The only reason President Akufo-Addo is engaging in this populist style of administration is because last 2 days, he was given a BNI report that suggested that the MPP is going to lose the upcoming election. That is the only reason why you see him talking today.
I see.
In the last 6 months, 7 months, where was President Akufo-Addo when Ghanaians were calling for accountability of his government? The man disappeared, suddenly appears and begin to crack jokes with important situations that confront the people of Ghana. I think that he's far above that.
Indeed. Mustafa, you make a good point with that. However, how do you explain also video making rounds where you assure your audiences that when your party comes into office, you would allow mining to go on?
Again, President Akufo-Addo was sleeping when we launched our manifesto, because clearly what I was telling the audience was to re-echo what we placed in our manifesto, that the NDC is not against mining in this country. The NDC will not be against small-scale mining in this country. And that when we come into power, mining will continue, except that there will not be any licensing of people to go and mine in the forest reserves. And I reiterated that it is President Akufo-Addo and his cronies who have brought Chinese people into this country, and they are mining with the protection of military and national security. And I dare the president, let us go to Minerals Commission. They should publish the names of license holders at the forest reserve. Let us go to the bush and see the people who are mining in the forest reserve, whether they are not appointees and cronies of President Akufo-Addo. That was what I was saying. We should not attack the small-scale miners. We should not attack community miners. We should not attack individuals who find little ways to mine and make money. The large-scale destruction of our environment is caused by the Chinese with the help of the government, endorsed and certified by President Akufo-Addo. Why is it President Mahama who instituted the LI that allow people to mine in the forest? President Akufo-Addo is a native of Achim, and so there are forests there. He knows that
just before we let you go, what is your candidate's plan in terms of dealing with illegal and unethical mining?
Our plan was what we did in 2020. It's enforcement of the laws. 1, 2, actually clamping down on the people who finances illegal mining. Like the Chinese, Aisha Wang was jailed in this country. Where is he? The government have set her free. President Mahama is saying that under his tenure as president, our water bodies will be preserved, our forest reserves will be preserved. So therefore, the LR that allow people to go and mine in the forest will be repealed, so that we can have the opportunity to clamp down on this large-scale destruction of our water bodies and our forest reserve. It is clear. President Akufo-Addo instituted community mining. Go and check. The community mining is being done by his own.
Mustafa, thank you so much. I'm out of time. Unfortunately, we cannot continue this conversation. We'll pick it up again in later broadcasts. Mustafa Gbandi is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC.
Well, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools charges joint calls for government to take concrete strategies that transcend partisan interests to end the menace of Galamsey. According to CHAS, the apparent inability to curb the illegal activity, which is now being exacerbated by the involvement of the youth, including students, is a cause for worry. They add that a survey report in 2022 has estimated that about 5,677 children are engaging illegal mining across the country. Let's get a bit more from Charles and the concerns they are raising. Christopher Mwako has been engaging them. Let's find out what more they've been saying. Chris, talk to us. They are concerned about illegal mining and the fact that students are being caught up in it as well.
Yes, exactly so, Marina. So according to Charles, if you go to mining areas across the country, you find children who are supposed to be in the classroom also engaging in the activity because there is no proper regulation by government and there is no proper commitment by government to, as it were, end the illegal small-scale mining across the country. And so they are concerned that the future of these children, the children and the country will be at stake if proper measures are not taken by government to end the issue of galamsey. Let's take a listen to what the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools have been saying.
But the state's inability to address the issue of illegal mining, known as galamsey, that has bedeviled this country for some time now. We are even more worried when we see the youth, including students on social media, depleting the forests and polluting the water bodies with impunity. Galamsey is an existential national security threat, and we call on government and all Ghanaians to find a lasting solution to this canker, devoid of partisan interests, through the adoption of sincere, pragmatic.
The Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools speaking there. Will take us on to our second break here on NewsCentral. We'll return and take you to the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia, #1 on the ballot.
With Showmax, your favorite characters now follow you anywhere. Download it today and watch the best in local, international, and everything in between.
He have not shown sign of settling down.
Oh, you don't mean it. The power to deliver disability.
I might have a solution. You take this and spray twice. Shake the gem. Place it on your lips and say the magic word. Yes. You, my darling, are unlucky in life.
This October to December, King's Furniture says, thank you, Ghana. Enjoy a whopping 25% off on all our domestic kitchen, wardrobes, and sofas. Upgrade your home with the finest furniture, crafted right here in Ghana. And for your office, we're offering 20% discount on all office furniture because your workspace deserves the best. Whether it's for home or office, now's the time to make your space truly yours and give the gift of comfort and style to your loved ones. Hooray! Promo is from October 1st and ends December 31st, 2024. Visit King's Furniture Showroom today and enjoy these incredible discounts. Locate us in Accra, Kisima, adjacent Melco and Takrade, Tanokrum, Pipeline, right opposite Connect FM, or call us on 050-150-5507 Accra and 050-133-2327. King's Furniture sets a standard. And a big thank you to Ghana.
Auntie, see. Nothing I want to move me one money my busa. Auntie Ama, the patch of me by a school, a university. Na scan year 2005. And yet they have many. Oh, to my even to my summit, the brown up paper. No, the family. Oh, yes, men's Fantoman Kotufi. It's what is said John Dramani Mahama. Any NDC for say, Senyamia Dona Ghana for Twabamana. Waba, Aba University, Technical University, College of Education, Nursing Training, woman academic fees for first year. Hey, free. No, yes. I don't know what you did. And then I'm said then there. Auntie, hey, share a BM was say, and can able siana, not a bow or more to a suku suono. Sano bonne bakwa, says it was so best home. Ediama oma, or more to a suono. And then your Mr. John Mahama, ye chummy soon cran say, Yenyanuma. Omo di dem asabi sabi bread yasa omo ko school pon no wase wo mu nyina wo ba eye free ane sema enka me ko nanka na ye 7 December nanka ya to aba na maye papa Mahama amana be ye president
hwe wasit ne moto aba pa e de sakra ya papa beba wa brabo mu to aba ma John Mahama ne NDC.
This is Hot Issues, your passport to the most compelling conversations of our time. We go one-on-one with the movers and shakers, the thought leaders, and the game changers. We ask the questions that matter, and we don't back down.
Tonight on Hot Issues, I sit with the man at the Center of Corruption Investigations.
Join me on Hot Issues here on TV3.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Welcome back. Now, wood workers at Sokoban Wood Village have threatened to stop paying market tolls if the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly does not address concerns of unlawful takeover of their land by thugs. The woodworkers argued that the 14-acre land was released by the Asantehene for the purposes of expansion, hence no one should be allowed to claim ownership on grounds of estate development. Ibrahim Abubakar is joining us with more on the story. Ibrahim, what else can you report?
Well, the wood workers are just trying to prevent any form of tension in the area. They said that the traditional authorities are behind it, and this is a land that was given to them by the Asante solely for the purposes of expansion of the wood village. And for that matter, they are not going to sit aloof and allow others to take over the land. Kwame Appiah is the spokesperson of the woodworkers.
As the leaders of the association would want, we believe that swift and transparent intervention by the authorities is critical to ensuring justice and restoring peace within the enclave. We remain committed to protecting our land and livelihoods and ensuring that Sokoban Wood Village continues to thrive as an important economic hub for artisans in the wood.
Ibrahim, just before you go, what has the KMA been saying?
Well, the KMA says that this has come to their attention, and currently they are in talks with the traditional authorities to restore peace in the area.
Very well, Ibrahim, thank you so much for reporting the story. Ibrahim Abubakar joined us from the Sokoban Woodworkers Village. And in our bulletin today, thank you so much for your company. Yeah. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Can we scan?
Yes, we can. I'm sure we can scan quickly before you head out of the studio and make way for the afternoon show. Pick up your smartphone, scan that QR code and join the 3 News WhatsApp channel. That's where you find all things news related from us here at Media General. I am Mawina Egbeta.
And I am Kemeni Amano. We'll see you same time tomorrow. The afternoon show is next.